guys, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about a really important subject for any performer. If you're an aerialist or a dancer or a model or whatever, it's how to find and use online castings. Online castings are a great way to get gigs and even get longer term contracts, but there are also a lot of scams out there, and it's super important to know how to identify scams and how to know right from the start when something's not correct. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how to find and book work through online castings, but also what to look for and when to know you're being scammed. I'm actually making this video because this week alone I saw 3 different scams that people were replying to and obviously thought they were real castings and real work. And it just makes my blood boil to think that people are getting tricked in this way. And there's not nearly enough information out there to help especially younger performers. I'm not going to talk today about pay or conditions. I think that's a completely separate video about how much performers should be paid, and that's too much to go into today. So we're gonna keep it to just finding work and knowing when it's legit work. As a freelancer, I book probably 90% of my work through online castings. All of my one-off gig kind of work I book through online castings, and quite a lot of my longer term, if I do a 2 or 3 month contract with a circus or with a show, a lot of that comes from online as well. So there's a really great community that can be super beneficial for you there. You just have to be smart and be careful. First off, there are a lot of websites that are subscription style casting websites. For example, circustalk.com or stagepool.com, or if you're in New York, Backstage. These are mainly subscription where you pay a monthly fee and then you're able to look at all of their castings. And when I was a little bit younger and I'm sort of trying to travel as much as possible, doing 6-month or 1-year contracts, that's where I booked a lot of things, because you can find a lot of work in Asia, a lot of work in Greece. If you're looking to sort of go places and do longer term contracts, those are a really great resource for you. If you're more interested in sort of staying close to home and doing shorter term stuff, there's not as much of that kind of work on those websites. I now have cut my subscriptions to several of them because I just don't do the kind of work that they are looking for. But if you're looking for a cruise ship or a summer abroad or 6-month contract, those can be a really great resource for you. The most productive online source of work that I've found has been Facebook groups. There are lots and lots of Facebook groups that are dedicated to finding jobs and gigs, especially shorter term gigs. If you are in a company or in an ongoing show or somewhere where you need to stay in the same place, but you're looking for the odd, I can do this for one night, do an extra show, pick up an extra couple €100, then those are the kind of gigs that are going to come up in those groups quite a lot. I would highly recommend just take an afternoon, sit down, search all the keywords that you can think of to find casting groups in your area. For example, I might search Dance Castings France, or Aerialist France, or French Aerialist, and just kind of see what groups you can find. There's a lot of different things out there. Some of them are going to be more helpful, some of them are going to be less helpful, but it's so worth the time just to see what you can find on Facebook groups. And at the very least, you're going to build up your community and your contacts, and there's some great information on those kind of groups, as many of you already know. It's really worth the time to find them and to participate in them, because you're making a network that's going to benefit you in many ways. And networking in general is so rewarding. I'm learning that in a whole new way now by doing this YouTube channel and connecting with other people who love the things that I love. And on that note, go over and subscribe to my channel. Another great way to use Facebook is friends and friends of friends. Obviously, I have my friends that are actually my close friends on Facebook, but I also have a lot of pages that are casting directors and agents and choreographers and aerial coaches and all sorts of people who might be posting castings for projects that they're working on. There are a lot of personal pages on Facebook that just post castings. Just keep your eyes open, and anytime you see someone post a casting, look at that person's profile and see if they post a lot of castings and friend them and follow them. A lot of these people will be happy to accept your friend request so that they have further reach with the castings that they're looking to fill. And don't forget that when you're applying, the first thing that anyone's going to do is click on your page and look at your page. So make sure that your page has photos and videos and materials that represent what you do, that make you look good, and that are easy to find. On that note, dancers, having a little bit of aerial is going to benefit you so much for dance castings. So much. I've booked so many jobs as a dancer because I could also do aerial in the show. It's such a big advantage if you have even just a basic level of whatever aerial apparatus you are drawn to. Whenever you do a job, make sure that you stay in contact with the people you're working with the other performers. I recently had a girl that I met through a ballet class who's a friend of mine, and I looked on Facebook and she had written, you know, I'm doing a fashion show and they're missing a girl with red hair. And I was like, hey girl, what's up? And I ended up doing the job with her. And it was great because I got to work with my friend, got a job, made the contact of the people who are running the job who have already said they want to use me again. So really just keeping the networking going is so unbelievably helpful. Every time you do a job, be in contact with those people. Make sure you get their Instagram, make sure you get their Facebook. Not in a weird way, don't be a weird stalker, but like just make sure that you're able to stay in contact with people because that is a super important resource. Plus, you're building your community and your network of support and friends and fellow artists. So like, what could be better? Let's talk about what you should look for in a casting. First off, all castings should be free. If you are being asked to pay something, unless it's for a subscription website where you're asked to pay the monthly subscription fee, but if you are being asked for money in any way, it is a scam. Do not give them your money for any reason. Any job should be free to apply for. You should not ever have to pay for a casting. Secondly, you should never ever go to a private residence for a casting. If they want to meet you somewhere that is an apartment or a house, first off, just don't do it. Like, that's not a thing. They should not be asking you to do that. If for some reason you really are dedicated to going, take another person. But honestly, I would never, ever go to a casting that is in someone's apartment or someone's house. If you do need to meet a person for a casting, make sure that it's in a public place and that you do it safely. Obviously, we all have heard this before, but I'm gonna reiterate because it's so important, guys. So this is the type of scam that I've been seeing a lot of lately. I think that these are jumping on the COVID bandwagon of like, everything's crazy because confinement and quarantine and whatever. These rules still apply even in confinement. You should not ever send nude or topless photos to any casting. No legitimate casting for anything will ever ask you to send nude photos. Do not do it. No matter what they say the reason is, do not do it. The type of scam that I've seen 3 different times this week are the ones where they will put up an ad. They'll say, looking for 18 to 30-year-old, must be over this height, send us photos and your resume/CV to this email address. Then when you contact the email address, you get back an email that will say, congratulations, based on your email, you're through to the 2nd round of casting. We would like you to do a Skype casting because of COVID-19 or because we're based in another city or whatever reason. Do not ever do a Skype casting. So the scam here is from the minute you get on Skype, you are being secretly recorded from the other end of the camera. No matter what they're asking you to do, even if it seems harmless, know that it's being recorded and it's going to escalate. They're trying to see how far they can get you to go. I know it's easy if you want the job and you're hungry to say, oh, well, I don't really mind if I'm secretly recorded as long as I get the job. There is no job. There will never be a job. There is no pay. There is no opportunity. You are just being taken advantage of. So you really never, ever do a recorded Skype casting. Another way to tell if a casting is legit or not is to look at the person who posted it. This is the person who posted the scam casting I just showed you. First, you can see that their profile photo is just a generic stock photo. and there's no personal information that's particularly unique on their page. And then as I go down the page, you can see all of their posts are sort of generic articles and things you could easily just quickly grab and post. There's no statuses, there's no personal photos, there's nothing to show that they're a real person. And they're all posted on the 17th or 16th of November. So clearly this person has created a fake Facebook page and then on the 16th and 17th just found a bunch of stock articles and photos that they could just throw up quickly to show that there's something on the page. There's not even old profile pictures. There's only these 2 stock photos they've used as profile pictures. In the comments, there was another profile that was almost identical to this one, but with a different name, that had left comments like, always love working with you. So it was obviously the same person with 2 profiles trying to build up their credibility. The danger here is that you don't know who this is, and I know girls who have been asked with these type of Skype castings to take off their tops, take off their bottoms. It's really, really vicious and disturbing. You should never feel like you have to give the benefit of the doubt to anyone who's running a casting or an audition. If you feel like you have to give them the benefit of the doubt, like this seems a bit weird, but I'll go with it, don't go with it. If you feel like there's a red flag, if your instincts are saying this is a bit weird, trust your instincts. You shouldn't be asked to do anything that makes you uncomfortable ever for any casting. Another thing to keep in mind is that you should always be paid. Any job that you're applying for should be paid in some way. It's not always money. You might, for example, agree to do a trade shoot with a photographer where you're paid and getting the photos for free. Or I did a gig once for a jewelry store where we could choose between being paid in money or being paid in jewelry, and I got $400 earrings. So just make sure that you are being repaid for your work in some form, that you are walking away with something that is of value to you. You should never, ever perform for credit. No one who is worth having on your CV is going to ask you to perform for the credit you're going to get on your CV. You should never perform for the love of performing. If someone's asking you to do something for free, unless it's a personal friend, often you're going to be in an environment where your work is valued what it is paid. In other words, nothing. Know your worth. Know that you deserve to be compensated for your skills and your talents and your time and effort in developing those skills and talents. Hopefully this will give you a little bit more of an idea of how to find things and how to know what you're looking at, if it's legit, if it's trustworthy, or if it's a scam. And whatever your situation is, keep at it. The key to this business really is tenacity and just keeping at it and never giving up and working as hard as you can, and it will pay off. I promise you, hard work pays off. It will show through in everything you do. So keep at it, be tenacious. Please don't forget to subscribe and join our YouTube community here with all the aerial stuff that I do, and I will see you next time.